This emotional restraint served multiple purposes historically. It created a sense of dignified detachment that reinforced the monarch's symbolic role above the political fray. It protected the royal family from excessive public scrutiny of their personal lives, and it projected an image of stability during times of national uncertainty. However, this approach also created emotional distance between the monarchy and the public it served, contributing to perceptions of royal aloofness and lack of relatability. As societal attitudes toward emotional expression evolved throughout the 20th and 21st centuries, this traditional royal stoicism began to appear increasingly anachronistic, particularly to younger generations. The tragic death of Princess Diana in 1997 marked a watershed moment in this dynamic. The public outpouring of grief and criticism of the royal family's initially restrained response highlighted a growing disconnect between traditional royal protocols and contemporary public expectations of emotional expression. In the years since, members of the younger royal generation, particularly William and Harry, have gradually challenged the emotional constraints of their institution, often citing the trauma of losing their mother as driving their advocacy for more open discussions about mental health. Prince William's emotional vulnerability during the conversation with Rhian Mannings cannot be separated from the immense personal pressures he faced throughout 2024, a year he would later describe as the hardest year I've ever had. This period tested the Prince of Wales in multiple overlapping ways that would challenge even the most resilient individual, royal or otherwise.
Within a remarkably short time frame, William faced two devastating cancer diagnoses in his immediate family. In early 2024, his father, King Charles, was diagnosed with cancer during treatment for an enlarged prostate 3. Just 6 weeks later, William's wife, Catherine, Princess of Wales, announced that she too had been diagnosed with cancer and was undergoing chemotherapy. As both a son and a husband, William experienced the fear and uncertainty that accompanies such diagnoses, while simultaneously balancing his concern with the need to support his 3 young children through their own worries about their mother's health. With his father undergoing treatment and his wife focused on her recovery, William shouldered an increased burden of royal duties while also prioritizing his role as a caregiver and father. This balancing act between public responsibility and private necessity created tremendous pressure as William sought to maintain stability for his family while fulfilling his constitutional role as heir to the throne. His engagements during this period, such as his visit to Bristol to focus on sustainability and future technologies, demonstrated his commitment to continuing his work despite personal challenges. Throughout this difficult year, the ongoing estrangement between William and his brother, Prince Harry, added another layer of emotional complexity. While Harry returned to the UK for court proceedings in 2025, the brothers remained distant, a painful reality during a period when family support would have been particularly meaningful. This unresolved familial fracture represents not just personal heartache, but a continuing public relations challenge for the monarchy.
William's acknowledgement of 2024's difficulties: life is sent to test us, and being able to overcome that is what makes us who we are, reflects a new royal willingness to admit personal struggle rather than projecting invulnerability. This admission came during an interview with actor Eugene Levy for his Apple TV Plus show The Reluctant Traveler, where William toured Windsor Castle and shared a pint with Levy at a pub, blending formal and informal settings in a manner that itself represents a modern approach to royal visibility. Prince William's emotional authenticity forms part of a broader vision for a modernized monarchy that he has begun articulating as he prepares for his future role as king. His approach represents not just personal style, but institutional strategy, a calculated evolution designed to ensure the monarchy's continued relevance in 21st century society. William's work in mental health advocacy, initiated through the Heads Together campaign with Catherine and Harry, and now continued through initiatives like the National Suicide Prevention Network, represents a deliberate departure from traditional royal patronage. Rather than focusing solely on ceremonial roles or supporting established institutions, William has positioned himself at the forefront of a critical social issue, using his platform to destigmatize conversations about mental health. The National Suicide Prevention Network, launched with a £1 million commitment from the Royal Foundation, aims to build what William called a bold, unified national response to the heartbreaking and preventable tragedy of suicide. This initiative connects leading charities across the UK's 4 nations, fostering collaboration and innovation in suicide prevention. The future monarchy that William envisions,
one that embraces measured change, prioritizes mental health advocacy, champions environmental innovation, and acknowledges the therapeutic power of emotional expression, represents a significant evolution of the institution. While maintaining the dignity and stability essential to the constitutional monarchy, this approach seeks to create a more relatable, responsive, and relevant royal family for contemporary Britain. As William himself reflected on his difficult year and the challenges ahead, his words capture this new royal philosophy. Life is sent to test us, and being able to overcome that is what makes us who we are. In allowing the public to witness both his tests and his emotional responses to them, Prince William is not weakening the monarchy, but potentially strengthening it for generations to come, building an institution that can withstand modern scrutiny precisely because it no longer pretends to be impervious to human emotion. The crying heir may well be remembered not for a lapse in royal decorum, but for pioneering a new form of royal leadership, one that proves that crowns and compassion are not mutually exclusive, and that the future of monarchy may depend on its capacity for authentic humanity.
In a poignant moment that captured global attention, Prince William, the future king of the United Kingdom, visibly struggled to contain his emotions during a conversation about suicide prevention with a bereaved mother. This extraordinary display of royal vulnerability represents more than just a personal reaction. It signifies a profound shift in royal protocol and public expectation. The traditional image of the stoic, emotionally detached royal figure is being replaced by a new paradigm, where emotional authenticity becomes a cornerstone of modern leadership. This article explores the significance of William's emotional moment within the broader context of personal tragedy, royal transformation, and the evolving expectations of monarchy in the 21st century. As Prince William approaches his eventual ascension to the throne, his willingness to publicly express emotion marks a radical departure from centuries of royal tradition. While his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, was celebrated for her unwavering composure, and his father, King Charles III, maintained the traditional royal reserve, William is forging a different path, one that acknowledges the therapeutic power of emotional expression and the leadership value of authentic vulnerability. This transition comes at a critical juncture for the British monarchy, as it navigates internal family divisions, external public scrutiny, and increasing questions about its relevance in contemporary society. William's tearful moment offers a window into not just his personal struggles, but the future direction of the institution he is destined to lead. The emotional exchange that captured worldwide attention occurred when Prince William visited Rhian Mannings at her home in Cardiff as part of a World Mental Health Day initiative. Mannings, who lost her one-year-old son George to an undiagnosed illness in 2012, and then her husband Paul to suicide just 5 days later, shared with William the heartbreaking reality of her double tragedy. As she described her ongoing grief and unanswered questions, William's typically composed demeanor began to visibly fracture. During their conversation, Mannings expressed what she would say to her late husband if given the chance. "I would just like to sit him down like this and just say, 'Why didn't you come to me?' Because he's missed out on just so much joy, and we would have been okay. And I think that's what the hardest thing is. We would have been okay." At these words, William looked away, cupped his mouth, and appeared to struggle for composure, his eyes reddening with emotion. In a remarkable role reversal, Mannings noticed his distress and gently asked, "Are you okay?" To which William responded, "I'm sorry, it's hard to ask these questions," before reaching across the table to touch her hand. The conversation highlighted not just William's empathy, but a shared understanding of loss. As Mannings acknowledged, "You've experienced loss yourself," a reference to William's childhood trauma of losing his mother, Princess Diana, under similarly public and tragic circumstances. 7. William's emotional reaction in this moment was more than performative sympathy. It represented a genuine connection between two people who understood profound grief, despite their vastly different circumstances. This authentic human connection formed the emotional core of a campaign aimed at breaking the stigma around discussing mental health struggles and suicide. To fully appreciate the significance of William's emotional display, one must understand the historical context of British royal emotional expression. For centuries, the monarchy operated under an unwritten code of stoicism, perhaps best encapsulated by the phrase, "Never complain, never explain." This approach positioned royalty as figures of stability,
unshakable constants in an ever-changing world, whose personal feelings remained secondary to their public duties. Queen Elizabeth II exemplified this ideal throughout her 70-year reign, maintaining an almost legendary composure through national crises, family scandals, and personal losses.